We've upgraded Kenobi's Delta. We built Jango Fett's Slave 1. And now it's time to take a look at the minifigures. Of course, the first minifigure we have to take a look at here is Jango Fett. We could not have Jango Fett Slave 1 without a Jango Fett minifigure, and considering the UCS minifigure is going to come in a cheaper playset later this year, I decided to build the Kaminoan. I'm going to call this the Cloned Father. And the decal for this torso will be up on my website for free. I'll leave the link in the description to all of the decals you see in this video. But this design on the torso, you might think it's some Grandpa Clone's custom ripoff. It's in fact the torso taken from Skywalker Saga, which is also where Grandpa Clone Customs get their printed torsos. So I guess to some extent, but I've taken a screenshot from the Skywalker Saga and decided to design my own. This isn't a screenshot, this is my own shapes and curves here for Jango Fett, so slightly different to the version you'll see, but definitely heavy inspiration from the Lego game, with official Lego pieces as well. These haven't been 3D printed, I haven't got that good that quickly. We have dark blue legs from a City Cop, we have the torso and arms from Steve, we also have a new clone headpiece, and the hair from Finn from either of the first two movies. And I have to say, this Jango goes not only great with the Slave 1, but also looks better than the other one we've got as a placeholder for the Fig later this year. If we've got Jango Fett, of course, we're also going to need a Boba Fett. Similar story with the torso taken straight from Skywalker Saga, which is why I'm giving these decals to you for absolutely free. And if you do want a more detailed video on how I decal these minifigures, let me know, because it's quite an easy process. You just cut out the shapes on decal paper, let them soak in water for a little bit. Okay, I guess sometimes they need a little bit more time than you might think, and then you apply them very carefully to your minifigures, and they almost look as good as prints without having to pay a couple grand for a printer. Boba here is built with a similar story to Jango Fett, with Nub's legs, the torso again of Steve, dark blue arms this time from a ninja, and the hairpiece from Kylo Ren. If you've seen the thumbnail, you know these aren't the only two minifigures we're making today, but they were built for my custom Slave 1, which alongside Kenobi's Delta does have its own video. And the problem with Jango and Boba is the cockpit for this Slave 1, this is the 20th anniversary set, recolored and restyled to look like Jango's ship, only fits one minifigure. Not only should the Slave 1 have 3 seats, but it should also seat Jango and Boba quite comfortably. Thankfully, whilst I might not script my videos here on the Master Moldy channel, I do plan ahead, and we have a few seats to add to make sure we can get all the minifigures inside. It might not be the easiest to see, but first off, we are going to get rid of these grill tiles on the base, because we're going to need to make use of all 4 studs. First off, placing a seat right on the front. Actually, we could put that in last. We could adopt the Lego Hobbit style of seating down minifigures, and really mini figures, I guess, with these snot bricks and plates on the end, but I've already discussed my, I guess, lack of excitement for this method, and instead, if you saw my recent review of the Lego Shire playset, I have used one of these bottom brackets to sit a, well, bracket with the minifigure on top, still get the plates, or the tiles in this case, on top, because on the back we've got a brown plate which adds up to the same height as a Lego chair and should allow Boba to slot in just behind Jango Fett. So let's take our Boba minifigure off of their legs, being very careful here not to ruin the decal on the front of the torso, which wouldn't be the first time I've done that, and place them on top of this bracket where they look like they are seated down quite comfortably, and this is going to be placed behind the chair. Good thing we didn't place that down earlier, on the back 2 studs. There is just enough space to fit a chair with some minifigure legs, so we're going to take our Jango minifigure out of his armor. Perhaps this time, for this mission, he didn't have a time to change and to prepare. And then we're going to sit Jango down just in front. Still not very happy with the fact that this mechanism does rotate the minifigures, because the cockpit isn't meant to rotate. But thankfully with 2 minifigures, we don't have the weight to allow it to rotate. It's too heavy now, so they're permanently in the upright position, which is a lot more accurate. And if you did want to offset Boba Fett, there is just enough space to the left to slide him over by a plate and get an empty chair beside him. I have to say, I'm just as surprised at you that we are able to get 3 minifigures. I guess if you did want a third minifigure, you'd have to remove the arms of the 2 in the back. But 3 seats in the 20th anniversary Slave One, this just might be my favourite Lego set. Before I reveal which minifigure this is, let's see if you can guess it. Dark red arms, a red torso, red legs, some darker skin hands, a clone trooper head, and the alternate hair off a sequel trilogy Finn. Now this Kamino mock that I'm working on originally was just going to be some sort of landing platform that could fit either the Slave One and Kenobi's Delta. But I think I'm going to push it a little bit further, try and get a bridge like we see in the Complete Saga, a little interior, maybe include a bunk for Jango, maybe include a little tunnel where we can get some of the clone cadets sitting around the bottom, maybe even make it so big that we can get the gift with purchase ship able to dock somewhere inside one of the bays of clones. I don't really know where that pops up. It's somewhere inside. Maybe even get another landing bay for the Kenobi Delta as well as the Slave One to both dock on this. Let me know how big you want to go with this and other things you want included, because I'm going to be working on this for the next week or so, and then hopefully I'll have a video out very, very soon. The clone in question was, of course, an adult clone cadet. We see first in Attack of the Clones. We might be getting one from Lego, so I really wanted to get in first and create my own custom minifigure. You can see the torso differs to Jango slightly, with the grey replacing the white on the belt. I think it's a better look, but we've also got the obvious colour change from red instead of blue. On top of that, I went with some decals for the arms with the Kamino logo, which I think we definitely need. There are so many minifigures that could do with this Kamino arm printing, and I guess Omega didn't have the Kamino logo on the arm, but we could still get so many minifigures, including the next minifigure and the final decal for this video, final custom minifigure, which is a younger clone cadet. Now, we don't know too much about the gift with purchase at the time of recording this video. If we have got any information, check out the latest live stream where we no doubt would have talked about it a little bit more. But clone cadets in the gift with purchase, 3 minifigures, they aren't going to look the same. And instead of just mixing up the hairstyles, it would be really nice to get a younger clone cadet, maybe an older clone cadet, and a different costume, because we see a few of them throughout Clone Wars and throughout especially Attack of the Clones when Kenobi's walking through or waltzing through Kamino, taking a look at the different ages. And I don't see Lego making these minifigures again. That's why they've given us the gift with purchase, similar to Aunt Beru. And maybe that's why we got the droids last year, because Lego just weren't going to make a set of it anytime soon. So I do want Lego to go all out. Arm printing doesn't hurt. Leg printing, even the front of the leg printing, I don't see necessary at this. So sacrifice that for some arm printing, and these minifigures could look pretty cool. Let's get back to the decals. Besides taking the short legs off Neil and of course replacing the hairpiece with one from Han Solo, this minifigure isn't too different to the older clone cadet. Especially if, like me, you overlook the fact that the headpiece used is actually one of the kid from the Freemaker series rather than a clone head. But these are also all designs that currently exist in Lego's portfolio and were used in the Skywalker saga, which we've also got a Bix Clean that we never got for Andor Season 1, and by the looks of it, isn't going to be coming in any Andor sets anytime soon. This is it for Andor. Any sets should be coming out in May, and at least we're getting Marva, so I'm definitely going to have to go back to the Skywalker saga and decal my own custom Bix Clean minifigure. But we've used 4 clone trooper heads in these decaled minifigs. So what about the 4 clones now missing a head? Well, we could look to other minifigures and steal some of the angry trooper heads just at the bottom here, because like clones, they've come in quite a few different sets. But instead, if you're trying to expand your clone army, especially using some of the other torsos to create some officers and other custom figures we've created over the years, I recommend pulling off the trooper head and replacing it with, rather than a brick, 2 1x1 studs. It gets the helmet at the same height as if it was wearing the head and is only visible if you're bending them over from the back. So I guess Any fatalities will need their own headpieces, but it's also a lot cheaper than trying to amass this headpiece. It's not expensive, it's just more expensive than 2 studs. So that has been all 4 minifigures that I've created for today's video and for the future Camino mock. Plenty more decals in the future, especially with the Andor series coming up. I should probably do a minifigure for every episode, get a load of them out, because there are so many minifigures from that show that we're yet to see. Don't forget, these decals will be available for free download online with a few instructions, and I'll probably leave a ready to print file as well for those of you that do have decal paper. And if you don't and are really into customs, I urge you to get them. It's so much cheaper than buying custom minifigures. There are so many characters that Lego do make, but there are so many more that Lego haven't and never will, because the show has come and gone. And a bit like the Tau shows or Visions even, they're just not popular for Lego to warrant a set. I do think they definitely need a set sometime in the future, or at least a CMF series with some of those Vision characters. It would do so well for fans like you and me. But thank you so much for making it to the end of this video. There will be some pictures up online. You can find them. But until then, may the bricks be with you always.